LS lesson, LS build. We're getting along with it. Welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by rockauto.com. Brian, we're moving right along, and in true Tech Garage fashion, you got your old shop vac out and cleaned it up. You don't like a mess.
No, I don't like a mess. I like to be methodical and super clean.
Yep, no doubt. Well, he's about ready to take his head off, but before he does that, let's bring you up to speed. You can see on this side, we left it intact. He took all the rocker arms off, and what he did after that, he come down and took the exhaust manifold off so he can go ahead and gain access to the bolts. Boy, that's exhausting. Now, once he took the rocker arms off, he didn't just throw them in a bucket. If you look at the wagon right there, this is the most critical part. Every one of these parts are mated to its other counterpart. So the rocker's going down to the push rods, and then it's going to match the valve. So each one of them's labeled. Brian has them on the tray, the organizational tray, where they go to each one of the push rods because they have a wear pattern. You can build this economically as long as you stick with those wear patterns and put everything back together. Now, down in the front here, we actually have the timing system. That's the next component here. I dropped the oil pan so I can gain the access to the oil pump right there, and I took the oil pump drive off. You saw that last show. Right here's the actual cam gear, and down here is the crank gear. So if I pull this off, it's nothing more than slipping off. I've already taken some of the bolts off here just so you can see. Take that off. We're probably going to replace that as well. We'll keep that organized and the bolts organized as well. And then there's a thrust plate right here. Brian, I'll start on this. I'll take this thrust plate off. I got the bolts loose already for the audience, but you got to start pulling that head.
Perfect. One large head bolt left. I've got it broken free. Just going to back it out. Well, I remember the old days, you probably do too, when these cast iron heads weighed a ton. Let's go into its singular spot right here, dead center. And I'm going to remove this head. Now, good practice, they're still heavy. Put your leg up here and support it. If you're fortunate enough to work on an engine stand like this, I'm going to roll it up, tilt it back, get a hand underneath it. Careful, those edges are sharp. And I'm coming right up off and over here gently on rags. No steel on steel, no aluminum on steel. All right, head gasket. This is worthy of inspection here. You're looking at these bridges in between, John, and this all looks really good. I don't see any breaks. I see cooling passages, right? Everything looks good, non-obstructed at all. And the head gasket looks good.
That'll tell the story, Brian. Any crosses there, any of those compression readings? Remember those compression readings earlier? Well, if we were getting adjacent cylinders, it could be passing between that head gasket. Warpage, we'll check for all that later. The head, we'll spend a whole episode on checking that, but we got to get the lifters out.
Let's see if we can get a lifter up out of here and get a good look at that as well.
What's really cool, those old 350s used to have the lifters here in the gallery. Well, this one's not. It's covered by the head there on the LS motors. So you have to pull the whole tray off, and then maybe you can grab one and slide it out.
There we go, a little surgery.
If you're lucky. Look at that.
There we go.
Wow, roller lifters.
Yeah, look at that.
Very cool. Right. Now, if you had some old lifters that are stuck, you can use some old racer's tricks, man. I have this little lifter installer here. You put it up on the top, got a slide hammer, pop it out of there. If you don't, well, simply get some carburetor cleaner, take some of that varnish off, work it, work it, work it. It'll come up out of there. Our LS lesson is progressing well. Speaking of lessons, we're going to Garage Ed next. Stick around. We'll be back with more Tech Garage presented by rockauto.com.